Hotline Miami. What a game. From the soundtrack to the gameplay to the story to the well-designed gameplay and like maps that you actually play the game on. Hotline Miami is such an interesting game. Games in the genre of getting killed or hit or dying in one hit have existed for long beyond and long before Hotline Miami. But the rewarding feeling of Hotline Miami is so hard to capture. The ability to almost instantly load back into a mission as you've died doesn't feel challenging in a frustrating way, but it feels inviting to give another try at what you succeeded on before, or what did you fail on, or what door didn't swing the right way when you walked into it, or what guy had a gun this time and before he didn't have a gun he had a pipe wrench, and what if they could shoot you through windows that you can't see even if you and but none of that. Some of Hotline Miami has a lot of things in it that are built into what feels like actually frustrates you. But it's not the frustration that should deter you from continuing. It's frustration that should insist that you play better and expect better of yourself to look around. It hides some of the things it does unfairly. Sometimes the RNG is a little difficult when it spawns people with different weapons than they had before. But overall, the gameplay's difficulty is so forgiving, honestly. Even though you die in one hit, the gameplay is forgiving. The Hotline Miami one doesn't it doesn't try to kill you by giving you weird gameplay interactions. It tries to kill you just by sending a lot of people at you at once. Sometimes they're guns, sometimes they're dogs, sometimes they're big bodyguards. And that's where the challenge all wraps in. Where for the story of the game, you play as Jacket, which isn't his real name. It is a community deemed name. That's his name in Payday, which is what I originally knew him from. Was from Payday. So that's he's called Jacket in Payday as well. Payday 2 to be precise. But Jacket is gets phone calls and he's asked to continuously go to locations by getting mysterious orders on his phone where he either kills Russians at a mobster club, drops off pies at a bakery at late night, takes a woman on a date, which all coincide with him having these meetings with these inner personalities throughout the campaign until you find out. Spoiler warning for everyone who doesn't want to talk about this. Give me, I'll have a spoiler checkup. When you find out he's been shot and put into a coma. From that point on, the game progresses to you now getting revenge on the people that called you, which culminates in you killing a Russian mobster, a Russian mobster's female assistant, two panthers, and what is a pretty cool final boss fight, which is prefaced by just wiping out one of his men's place in a giant garage. Simple mission, just carnage. After which you then transition to playing as the biker who discovers what the phone calls were about and who had been calling them. The biker him being a boss that you had fought previously in the game during the radio tower mission. The game quite literally says he uses magic to obtain secret items that you can only get through Jacket's side of the story to get the real ending, which I think is funny. The game doesn't take itself... It takes its theme seriously, but it doesn't take its jokes, right? Like it's good at making humor of the things that happen. And I like that about it. As a game that came out in 2012, it has been 11 years since it released, and for me, this is my second only playthrough ever, having played it 4 years ago in 2018-2019. And so if you look at my playthrough, when I beat my old high scores, there's a sense of excitement I had at beating younger version of me at the game. So it was pretty nice. It was rewarding, and when I would lose to me, I would be like, dang nabbit. But the game is very good. I think it's a little probably difficult to get in for newcomers, but I think it's a good starting point for the genre of game that it is, because games beyond this, such as Katana Zero is one I'll think of, is off the top of my head, or Celeste, which is one I've played on the channel, where it's this, you die, you instantly restart what you were doing, and that's different takes on that genre and how they progressed it. And I think when I think back to the oldest game I remember playing that started like the you almost loaded right back in, that wasn't a shooter, really felt like Hotline Miami. So I think this is one of those indie classics. I think it's one of those you have to try it, at least watch it, at least know about it. It's really good. The sequel does everything to improve upon it in every fashionable way, uh, and I think that's such a perfect project. I understand like what we'll get into that if I, whenever I decide to play the next one. um, Lastly, the music, the soundtrack is giga banging. They knew exactly what kind of aesthetic they wanted to achieve, and all the musical artists on it were cleaning up when it came to making music for it. I mean, it is wonderful. From the from when you first start to the more melodramatic beats towards the end of it, to the sound of you, the dun dun as you sat in the room with the masks. I just think it's really good, and I think the soundtrack on its own could elicit its own review. So, anyway, if I had to give Hotline Miami a review or a rating or a score, this is a game you can rate, and I would say this is a fundamentally found 9, 10, 10 out of 10. This is a wonderful, wonderful game. Knowing that the sequel improves upon it in every single aspect makes me want to give it a 9 because I know that the next game is so wonderful. But I would firmly say, like, as the beginning of what is a 2-part series, it is a wonderful game. I truly, truly believe that. And if you have the skills or the interest or even just the patience to play it, I really think it's one of those fundamental indie games you should play. So, yeah, Hotline Miami gets a 10 out of 10 out of G.I. Joe, Fred. I think it's an amazing game. It's worth the frustrations. It's a 4-hour game. If you're decent at games like it, I'm decent at games like it. So, alright. Everyone, thanks for watching my review. Thanks for listening out. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed my no commentary run of it. I was good to just play the game. Little too much, not as relaxing of a game for me to just talk about while I'm playing it, because it does get frustrating, but I don't think that detracts from the overall score. The story is very interesting, and the way they round it out towards the end, although nonsensical in the sense of its magic for how you get the things, it is good. It is interesting, and I enjoy it. So, alright. Thanks everyone for watching. If you stuck around this far, I appreciate it. G.I. Joe Fred out. Thanks you guys. Bye guys. Bye everyone. Bye.